Alright, it's time to talk games, and here's what we're playing this week. David, if you would start us off as usual.
Sorry, I'm just a little tired. I finished up playing a lot of this new game here called what's it called? Hang on, Tap Titans. I'm looking at a lot of freaking cell phone games. I guess because I'm just bored and I'm using my mobile phone more and more lately. So that would explain it.
Yeah, you've been busier and busier getting yourself established there, too, as well as editing up all the things for this show. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Really, the newest thing that I've been playing, aside from a game that I am going to actually review a little bit later, Game Dev Tycoon. It's been around for quite a while, but I just picked it back up. I started up a new company, affectionately referred to as Casual Mode Studios. See what I did there.
Yeah.
With such notable games as the World War strategy game Code of Honor. And actually the first game that I ever made that was a pretty good seller was a cyberpunk RPG called Quantum City.
Mm.
And it's had a few sequels so far. Also, I did also make a brand new nation in nation states as a counterpoint to Tenebracia.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Antithetica.
Yeah, that was. Are you trying to make a clone of Super Jackass Land?
No, actually, I'm doing something different. I started it off as a theocracy, and I'm playing it pretty much to the hilt along that. The official religion of Antithetica is contrarianism, and their slogan is, "We're everything you aren't." So, yeah, they're pretty dedicated to being the anti-Tenebracia.
Cool, cool.
New releases for the coming week. Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 3 V Generation for the PS Vita on June the 30th. J-Stars Victory VS Plus, which is another in their in Namco Bandai's fighting game series involving Shonen Jump characters. That's coming out on the 30th as well. There's a PC game that got greenlit on Steam called Rogus Kingdom of the Lost Souls. It's going to be coming out on the 30th as well. It is a platformer that, aside from basic platforming elements, you also get to cast spells while you're doing that. And the other notable one, Samurai Warriors Chronicles 3 for the 3DS and PS Vita. Alright, before we get into the meat of the video game segment, where we have some news and also the video game review that I've been teasing, I wanted to let you know about this one YouTube video that I saw. Of course, we've covered previously on this show where someone created a version of Splatoon in Minecraft. So, getting games to do other completely different games is actually kind of something really, really interesting. And somebody created a custom stage in Smash Brothers 4 that you can basically use to play Mewtwo Tennis. What you do is you have two different Mewtwo's on each side of the court, and you play tennis by reflecting shadow balls back and forth. And if you get knocked out by a max power smash ball, well, then that's one of the points. And all of it basically follows basic tennis rules, the scoring system and what constitutes out and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting. Take a look at it if you want. Some bad news for those of you who have bought Batman Arkham Knight on PC. Warner Brothers actually suspended sales of the PC version, and certain various retailers have pulled it from sale and offered refunds if the next patch of the PC version does not fix most of the issues, because there have been some really, really seriously game-breaking issues, including sporadic freezes, frame rate stutters, audio glitches, and just outright crashes. Especially for those of you who are using AMD graphics cards, because AMD has been kind of slipping in technical quality as of late. So, principal developer Rocksteady Studios has said that they support the decision by Warner Brothers to pull the PC version, and they have their best engineers working to fix this problem. So here's hoping they can get that working and get this game back in the hands of the people who are so desperately wanting to play it. And let's hope this doesn't hurt things too much. Sometimes when you release games, some bugs don't get caught. And the best you can do, and I know this largely as a result actually of playing Game Dev Tycoon, the best you can do is just try and make sure that all the readily apparent bugs are worked out before you release them. And then if any other bugs come up, it's probably stuff that you probably weren't able to foresee. And sometimes they're fun bugs, sometimes they're game-breaking. But truth be told, apparently the graphics difference between the PC version and the PS4 version is so different that if you have both a gaming PC, and a PS4, you're probably going to want the PS4 for the more high-quality experience. And now, no more delay, no more teasing. I got to play a new game. I will be completely open and disclose how I got this game. I got this through a service called Bundle Star. They are a company that buys up games from Steam and sells bundles with keys to people for lower prices. Mostly independent games, so that they're supporting independent game developers. And occasionally they have giveaways where they partner with PC Gamer to give away free keys to certain games. Well, I got the notice that this game, Grimoire Manastorm, was going to be one of those given away in the email to like the first 100,000, I think, that grabbed it. And I was able to get in quickly enough that I was able to get a free key to this game. I would also like to assure you that the fact that I got this game for free is not going to affect my review of it in any way, shape, or form, and that will try to be as objective as possible, because I do like to have some kind of journalistic integrity. So anyway, Grimoire Manastorm is a very interesting first-person shooter, except not really a first-person shooter. It's more of a first-person caster, because all the multiplayer characters are wizards who fight not with like rocket launchers and guns and whatnot. They fight with magic spells. When you play online, right now it's online only. It is in Steam Early Access. It was released in Early Access on February the 4th. Single copy is $9.99, or you can get a 4-pack to share with your friends. 1 code for you, 3 for your friends, for $29.99. In the game, there are 2 houses that you can play as, basically the red team and the blue team, or Validus and Magnus. I forget which one's red, which one's blue off the top of my head, but whenever you get in game, if you're playing the team mode, your opponents will be listed as red. So there's not going to be any confusion based on faction color, who's who. And within the game itself, there are 6 classes that you can play as. There are Ice Mages, which of course use water-based, cold-based attacks. Nature, which use plant, foliage-based attacks. Fire, which are, of course, fire-based attacks. Earth, which use rock and ground. Lightning, and the dark mages known as nether mages. Each class has 4 base spells. There's a primary map to the left mouse, secondary map to the right mouse. There's a class utility that's mapped to Q by default. The ultimate is mapped to E. Then you have one movement power and another utility power that you can actually choose out of a list of like 6. They are mapped to F and R respectively. When you're in game, you can take a quick step by hitting shift. You can jump with space. WASD is your movement keys. You use the mouse to look around. H pops up your little help thing so that you can double check your controls. You can actually change your class with the left angle bracket button. And you can switch between first-person mode and third-person mode by using the colon. And there are 2 different game modes. There is the free-for-all mode, which is basically your classic deathmatch mode, where the person who managed to rack up 30 points somehow ultimately wins. And Conquest, which is your team-based one, based on point control. You have like 3 points in the battle arena that you have to stand in and keep defend for a little while before its banner turns your color. And there's actually a little mark on the heads-up display with 5 banners that will change colors depending on whether they have not yet been picked up or whichever team is controlling them. Both modes are 15 minutes long. Conquest ends when one team reaches 750 points. So, and you go around this area, which right now, because it's an early access, they don't have a lot of arenas. It's just in this basic kind of castle town area that you can go around and shooting at mages. Some spells obviously are stronger than others. Of course, your ultimates can kill opponents at high percentages, high hit points, whereas your lower ones you'll actually see chip off a little bit of health as little numbers popping up into the air. So you might want to hit those several times before you're able to, or chip away at your primary, which you can spam. All the rest of yours have cooldowns, so you'll want to use them selectively just at the right moment to get kills. The sound is a very kind of atmospheric sound. There's no music to speak of, but the individual spell sounds do have their own unique sounds and sound very kind of representative of what their energy type is supposed to be. I don't know if this was a matter of my laptop being really, really crappy or not, but the textures on the battle arenas and on the characters seem very, very low res. So it's not like your hyper realistic kind of graphics. But then again, it may be just the fact that I had all my settings slid way too low out of necessity because, admittedly, my laptop sucks. Your experience on that front may differ depending on the quality of your computer. Ultimately, though, I did find it a pretty fun, interesting take on the first-person shooter. I would recommend it to people. There's already a fair number of servers that you can get onto. Some of the games do, of course, have limits of how many people can get into them, just out of necessity. I believe the Conquest mode can have a maximum of 14 people, and the free-for-alls can have a maximum of 8. So So there are server maximums, but there's a fair number of servers. You can either choose a server on the list on the right-hand side and join that game, or you can have it search for servers within a certain ping range, which, by the way, the lower ping number means, basically, in internet terms, the closer it is to you. The lower the ping number means the less likely you're going to have lag. Like I said, I did find it really, really fun. I do recommend it for people who want something different from your usual gun-based first-person shooter. Of course, since it is a Steam Early Access game, we are going to give out your little caveat emptor. So those of you who aren't akin to wanting to buy games in early access, then you might want to stay away from this. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have bought this game. The fact that I got it for free meant I did get actually a chance to play it. I wouldn't have bought it in early access just because I'm a little skittish about such things. But since I did get it for free, I decided I wanted to go ahead and play it and review it as it is now for y'all. And keep in mind, some of the bugs that they're having now could very well get fixed. Aside from a few incidences where some early access games have actually been released without having bugs fixes, part of the reason for the early access process is to get it out to people for a lower price, get some of the bugs worked out for the people who really, really are interested in this concept and want to help it become a thing, and then release it to a wider audience later. So, yeah, like I said, if you're inclined to buy early access games and you're a first-person shooter player, you might want to check this one out. I found it pretty fun, and I'm not all that big into first-person shooters myself, so, take that as you will. All right, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Coming up next, we will have some sports news, and in fact, I think I have further evidence to support my assertion that there's going to be a new NXT champion and a new United States champion.
Hey everyone, this is David. Like what you hear? Check us out on the internet at casualmodepodcast.com, on Facebook at facebook.com/casualmodepodcast, any one of our social media links, and of course, click on the little subscribe button below. Thanks!